Patrick, great to see you here at COP27. What do you make of the environment on the ground? Is there an energy in the air, so to speak?
I find it very interesting, and I've been trying to suss it out myself. I think the energy is there, but I wonder if there is a clarity of mind in terms of how fast we move forward, because this is about us playing our role as global citizens and global corporates in terms of the environment and the need for us to shift the gear to a sustainable future and low carbon future. And we are being faced with that at the time of many challenges and on the eve of global recession, as the economists are warning us. And as we're dealing with this, there are also geopolitics that are in play that are not helping a global economic environment. And therefore, it becomes very difficult. Now we are here, we want the North or the developed nations to support the emerging nations. How do they do that when they are faced with their own crisis? And how fast can we be able to move? Are we bold enough to still prioritize the issue of environment? Because there is an opportunity, but people want to see demonstrated examples so that they can be hopeful. Because remember, the fuel of hope, I always believe, is progress on the ground. We really need to start looking at how do we move. But I'm happy that South Africa, that President Ramaphosa presented the Just Energy Transition Investment Plan yesterday.
Was it well received?
Yeah, it was positively received. And I think they see that South Africa is being serious. They see that South Africa wants to move forward. But the African continent, people are saying, how do we achieve this if the developed North is not meaningfully supporting us? Because this cannot happen on the back of normal loans or normal conventional loans, because other countries, as we speak, are limited in terms of the headroom to borrow, because there is also
They don't have the space,
sovereign
the fiscal
guarantees that
space.
is required. If these are just commercial loans, how then is it different from the other loans? So it's very, very, very important. But I think that the big question is, as countries, can we play our role the best we can in making sure that we develop our economies? Because just transition doesn't have to happen at the expense of the people on the ground. It's got to happen in such a way that it becomes an additionality, but a positive and a meaningful transition to a space where there is much more inclusive in terms of the economic participation for countries. So we have that responsibility.
And this time pressure is upon us. I mean, we have
Massive
run out
time
of
pressure.
time.
Massive time pressure. This is where the thing is. We have to really, really look at it. But I worry because South Africa is experiencing massive demand for coal by Europe. We see trucks like we've never seen before, right across so many arteries that are leading to the ports in Richards Bay, trucks like never before. And what we're seeing on the ground worries me in terms of the country not paying attention to what is developing. I was in KZN just over the weekend. I was surprised to see that certain road networks have been shut closed for trucks because of the truck accidents. And what does that mean in terms of the future for the ports? So if politicians don't pay attention to this, and if our intelligence don't pay attention to this and engage, because this thing says, people are saying trucks are dangerous, they're destroying the roads, they are killing people in terms of accidents. How do we make sure that our roads are in good condition to handle this? How do we also make sure that Transnet, in terms of its rail capacity, is really paid attention to make sure that we take these trucks or these cargoes off the road to rail so that they can be able to be transported much more cost effectively? for the mining houses. But when people start closing road networks, this is economic sabotage. But people have got their own valid reasons on the ground. You have to pay attention to it.
And
Otherwise,
it's a balancing act.
it is a very delicate balancing act, Bronwyn.
From a Development Bank South Africa perspective, what are you hoping to take out of COP27?
We are meeting quite a number of our international partners. They are extremely keen to work closely with us. We are saying to them, how can we access more project capital to make sure that we're able to do feasibility studies and advance projects into investability. There is some willingness. We are talking to say, how can we talk about possibilities of guarantees where we can be able to make things happen that would otherwise not happen. There is willingness. There is really a willingness to even say, how can we come and participate in the economy of South Africa? Are you guys meaningful in terms of public-private partnerships, so that we can be able to bring our own private sector to work in conjunction with your private sector in the country to really improve things. So there is that level of willingness. I think it's going to be up to us. How do we create an environment attractive enough? How do we then deal with issues? But I'm still excited at the possibility of the Central Fiscal, the Minister of Finance, in his medium-term budget speech, to say he wants to take off certain debt from Eskom, so that Eskom can have a better wiggle room to do much more. There is a need for agent grid investment, because especially in the Northern Cape, there is no more grid capacity. And that is the most attractive area for investment in terms of renewables. But the issue is, how do we then move this at a very strong rate, because we have to be able to solution for our own load shedding. It is a massive challenge that we have to urgently address, and it's doable, Bronwyn. I really believe within a space of 12 months at most, South Africa should not be talking about load shedding, because there are interim measures that we can put in place to make sure that we really do not sabotage our economy.
Well, this is what every South African wants to hear. So, Patrick Dlamini, thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure speaking to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Bronwyn. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.